The developer experience is only a subset of what you can actually measure to really understand like how are our value streams evolving, because there's so many things that factor in outside of just the tools we use in the human and developer experience.
Hey, I'm Steve McGhee. I'm a reliability advocate at Google Cloud. I was an SRE for a long time, and now I help people build more reliable systems on the cloud.
Hi, I'm Kyle Campbell, founder of CTO.ai. We are a modern development platform that helps companies measure the software developer experience. Been an entrepreneur and a self-taught software engineer for a long time, and love to help developers build internal developer platforms. How do you see DORA metrics relating to developer experience?
Yeah. So I mean, the whole point of the developer kind of career, right, is to ship code, right? It's not really to write code in solitude and then just like tinker with it forever and never actually ship it. You want to see it do something, right? And so being able to do that effectively, I think, is, if you're kind of a software purist, that's like, you want to be in flow and you want to, see the result of that, and you want to be able to iterate on it, and you want to be able to be inspired to improve it in some way. And every time something holds you back from that sort of optimized loop, because you have to go through some process, or you have to file a ticket, or you have to like push the button and wait for the thing to spin for a while, these are all things that we find are what, like, in the DORA speak, like, it's the stuff that slows down your ability to get code into production, or it's the thing that slows down your ability to find a problem in production, or to roll it back, or otherwise inhibits your ability to find something out there, like to find a piece of shared code that you might take advantage of instead of having to write it from scratch. So all of these things, I think, I feel like it's just a different lens into developer experience. And at the end of the day, it's really, they're like, the DORA model is just trying to make developers' lives better. And by doing that, it's making the product more capable of evolving. Like, if your product's already done evolving because it's perfect, like, okay, sure, you're done, I guess, but that seems unlikely. But if your developers are happy and they're capable and they have what they need, A, they're going to be, well, happy, right? They're going to have a good experience, but B, they're going to be able to do whatever needs to be done to evolve that product to make your customers more happy. So I don't know, it's kind of a roundabout answer, but I think they're kind of two views into the same problem set, and how to understand if your developer experience is like positive or not, right? Like, there's a lot of ways it can be positive or not, and we just call these capabilities, and we measure them through this survey. But in like the kind of the more abstract, DX realm, like, it's a lot more complicated, because you have to talk about like how we got there and what tools we're using, and how we're actually like planning things and things like that. So I don't know, maybe it's a subset, but I feel like it's actually hitting at the same problem set, because like the customers of DORA are developers, right? And we're measuring their experience and how it reflects on the product and the company. So
Yeah, I believe it's a subset, right? Like, I think through talking to you, one of the things I've learned is that DORA goes beyond measuring just developer experience. I've always equated it directly to the developer experience, what the developer experience is, but it's clear that, it goes broader. I think it's Brian Chesky, Airbnb CEO and founder, has always said culture is the way we work together. I think historically, people like Ben Horowitz would say culture is what we do when we're not told what to do as a group, right? And I've always thought of DORA as relating to the developer experience. And I've always thought of developer experience as what a new developer experiences when they join your team. And I look at it through a cohort analysis of like, when a new developer joins your team, what does that ramp up period look like for them? And then once they get to that place of feeling like they have the capabilities, what is the ongoing process, right? But it's clear to me now, as I've learned more from talking to you, that what DORA seeks to do is not just measure, even though developers are one of the main constituents in it, right? It looks that it seems to measure those broader attributes, and that's why some of this survey information is so important, because it's only a subset. The developer experience is only a subset of what you can actually measure to really understand like how are our value streams evolving, because there's so many things that factor in outside of just the tools we use in the human and developer experience.
Yeah, the user centricity part is a big part of that. Like you can have the greatest developer experience, but if you're not talking to your users and figuring out what it is that they want, like it doesn't help your company. Like you might be super content and happy, but you're not going to be successful as a company because you're just building the wrong thing. So like
Yeah,
those they diverge a little bit there. You're right.
it's also interesting to bring that lens now into DORA with the user centricity, because it embraces a lot more of that kind of product thinking that I think has evolved. Agile and Scrum kind of evolved out of the PMO style of thinking about it from the product world, right? And to bring engineering more into that lens, and to some degree, I think provide accountability for engineering to say, hey, talk to your customer. I mean, this is something that in a startup is so important, right? But even in a large company, it gets harder and harder as you get further away from the customer. But being able to bring that back as a reminder and understanding how that information flows, how many hops it goes through, what is the broken telephone. It's such a much broader, broader thing and much more difficult to measure empirically.
If you want to learn more about DORA, check out dora.dev. And you can join our community as well. There's a URL, dora.community, which is an actual URL. You can type it into your browser. And where we meet up a couple times a month to talk about DORA and how they're adopted within communities and organizations. And then keep a lookout for Ask DORA. I call it DORA Bot. But we have an LLM that's trained on all of the DORA material for the past 10 years, and you can ask it any question you'd like to better understand all the material within the DORA reports over the years. And don't forget to check out the Accelerate book as well. It's 10 years old, and it still rings true.
If you're looking to advance your CI/CD practices and get DORA metrics automatically through that tool, check out CTO.ai. We will help you set up your CI/CD process to automatically collect and search and report on the DORA metrics that come out of your CI/CD practices. And then you can use those and compare them with the word of your team to understand how to continuously improve over time. I want to say a big thank you to Steve from DORA for joining us, and we'll see you soon.